Hello. On this week, Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am so excited because I talk to a food addiction expert. And basically, we really talk about our relationship mentally with our food and how, those addictions can impact us, our health, but also us mentally. And then also, even if you think about it, if you are addicted to food, but just have a lot of food in your home and your life, it impacts our refrigerators, our freezers, as well as our pantries. They just get full of food, which is clutter that we don't even need in our homes and our lives. So, stay tuned for the conversation. Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am just so excited today because we are talking with Michelle Pettis, and we're really going to be talking about food addictions. And before I actually bring Michelle on and we start the conversation, I just wanted to start with this now. In June alone, and I'm going to list some of the food holidays that are celebrated in June alone. There's Jerky Day, there's Cheese Day, there's Rotisserie Chicken Day, there's Gingerbread Day, there's Ice Cream Cake Day, Vanilla Milkshake, Apple Strudel, Strawberry Shortcake Day, Chocolate Ice Cream Day, National Donut Day, and Rocky Road Day. Just in June alone. So, woo! Thank you so much for joining us. And so, first, before we really get into the conversation, I want you to just kind of share with those watching and listening what made you decide to be the expert in, as we deal with our food addictions.
Yeah, I don't know that I made a conscious decision that that's what was going to happen. you know, I just Janet, I followed the path. I followed the path. And just this weekend I did a presentation at at Sankofa Bookstore. I'm right outside of Washington, D.C. And Sankofa Bookstore is across the street from Howard University. And I think your listeners will probably know what Howard University is and what it stands for. Well, Sankofa Bookstore, as I was doing this talk in preparation for it, I looked up the definition of Sankofa. And Sankofa really means to look back as you are moving forward, not to dwell in the past, but use the past as a guide for your next steps as you move forward. As a beacon. And I thought, my God, this is so appropriate. And it goes back to your question of like, how did I decide that this was going to be my lane? Um, when I wrote my book, Leaving Large: The Stories of a Food Addict, I wrote it in 2019. I published it. I started writing it in 2019. Let me say that, or 2020, and I published it in 2021. If I had known then, Janet, what I know now, the title might be different. The title might be Leaving Large: The Stories of a Processed Food Addict.
Mm.
And I spent decades confused about a couple of things about food, what food really was and what it wasn't, and what hunger really was and what hunger really wasn't. And once I got clear on those two things, it my life changed. It shifted. And part of that confusion had everything to do, had for me and for people now who are still struggling with it, with what you just read. That list of food holidays, that list of food holidays, that those holidays that are created by the people that manufacture that stuff that they call food that's not really food, so that they can sell more of it in larger quantities to us because we're unconscious, because we don't understand that it is for their profit and not for our health.
Mm.
And once I got this fundamental understanding, and I could, I mean, it's like I'm thinking, how could I be 60 years old and never look up at the definition of food? How could I, something you do every day,
It
right?
happens.
But we fall into this state of unconsciousness, right? And the food manufacturers, the processed food manufacturers, the snack food manufacturers, the junk food manufacturers, the fast food, they want to keep us in that state of unconsciousness. And this state of unconsciousness is leading us round down a road of ill health. And what it is doing, it is robbing us of our power, not just of our health, but it is robbing us of our proficiency, of our productivity, right? Of our performance, of that of our cognition, right? Because this is a matter of brain. This is a matter of brain function. Our bodies follow our brain, but everything in this kind of culture that we're in tells us eat this, not that, work out this, follow this plan. And I'm not saying you don't have to follow a plan, but I'm what I am saying is that before you're able to stick to a plan, you got to do as my grandfather said, you got to get your mind right. You have got to get your mind right. And there is plenty of stuff that swirls in this atmosphere that keeps us from doing that. And it is by design. And this is what I really want people to understand is that once I got clear, Jen, you would ask me why, because it's like you can't once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now that I know and understand the truth, I cannot let people that I know and love and see be sick and fall into ill health. I can't not share it. Now, what you choose to do with it, that's on you. But I am going to keep telling the truth. I am going to keep saying that this stuff that you think is food is not food. That you do have the power to change your life. You do not. You are not destined for a
Mm-hmm.
legacy of ill health, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the power. There's a way to reprogram your brain and your mind and get your thoughts back so that you can live an empowered, healthy life that you are supposed to live.
Mm-hmm. And I agree wholeheartedly with you, Michelle, because I'm at a place now where I'm realizing that if I make certain moves, I mean, I exercise, but all of a sudden I start making moves, and it's like, well, wait a minute, why all of a sudden now I've got pain? So I've decided to take at least a couple of months and discover, like, what am I not doing that I should be doing? Which leads me, and you've already talked about some of the things. And the next question is, how is it impacting us as well as our bodies? Because I always tell people sometimes we have to be conscious of what we eat and when we eat it.
Hmm.
Because I've learned if I eat certain things, I can't even function afterwards,
Yeah,
Michelle. And
right,
we
right,
call it the itis, but
right, right, right. And so it's interesting that you would bring up the itis, is that you know our bodies tell us, but we are conditioned not to pay attention to them, to disregard those messages. And not only do our bodies tell us, our history tell us. Our so I think about this. For most people, if you grew up in a praying family, right, you were saying your prayers before you eat, before every meal, and the prayer goes something like this, and you can nod: thank you, God, for this food. Bless the hands that prepared it. May it nourish and strengthen our bodies. I heard that prayer before breakfast, not lunch, because I was generally at school at lunchtime, but at breakfast and at dinner. My grandfather prayed that prayer before every meal. May it nourish and strengthen our bodies. May it nourish. So we know that that prayer tells us, it sets the intention, but we don't internalize those words, because we'll say, thank you, God, for this food. May it nourish and strengthen our bodies. And then we'll eat a plate of food enough for 5 people. That's not nourishing or strengthening, right? And I can't talk about other people. I mean, I could go out to a restaurant, go Mexican restaurant. I love Mexican food. Eat 5 baskets of chips. Ain't nothing nourishing or strengthening about that. So we know, but we don't know we know. We're not paying, we're not tuned in to what the words really mean and how it really impacts us. So we can just kind of like, as we start to peel back like the layers of life and conversations, we get it, but we don't hear it. Like the itis, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. Right? I know how many times you say, I know this isn't good for me, but I'm going to eat it anyway. Why? I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm going to do it, right. Because we don't have a fundamental understanding of what that really means to our health and our life. That in the old days, I grew up in the country. I'm from the South, and I heard many times people say, and they would say, oh, I don't eat that. It doesn't agree with me.
Oh yeah, and
They
people
would say,
sell.
"Really? Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't agree with me, right? It's not gonna do it." But then on the flip, well, I know I shouldn't. When I do this, it does this to me, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. And probably the the situation where people kind of most listen to their bodies is when they're allergic to something, when it's a severe allergic reaction. Oh, no, no, I can't eat peanuts. I can't eat crab. I can't eat seafood. I can't do that because the reaction is so severe that it's life threatening at that point. And so they don't do it. So that's their conscious food story. I don't eat this because it affects my health in this way. But here's the reality that most people don't get. And I really want people to understand is that food is not neutral. What we put in our bodies, everything is either going to heal us or hurt us. It is going to cure us or it is going to kill us. It may take a long time. It might not show up right away in that moment. But if it is not nourishing or nutritious, it's not just unhealthy, it is dangerous. If it's not nourishing or nutritious, it's not just unhealthy, it is poison. If it's not nourishing or nutritious, it's beyond unhealthy. We got to think about poisonous, we got to think about dangerous, we got to think about those words rather than oh, this isn't good for me. Well, and then even go beyond that. Why are you willing to do something that is not good for you? If why is taste more important than how you step into your life, how you step into this world? Because we've got these messages, and we get these messages for so long that it's not for us, that we don't deserve that, right? And so I want to flip the script. I mean, Janet, I was 60 years old. In my career, professional, doing all the things, successful, climbing the corporate ladder, breaking the glass ceiling, all that stuff. But I still felt like a failure. I felt like a failure when it came to my weight in my body. And not only did I just feel that way, I was. I can say that because I didn't have the skill. I didn't know how to manage my emotions so that I could manage food. I didn't know how to do it. We aren't taught that. So it wasn't a moral failing that I didn't know how to do it, but we just live in a culture that wants to keep us unconscious.
And you're so right. You're so right, Michelle, because I feel a little bit more healthier and more food conscious now in my 60s than I was in my 20s. But also, when you were talking, I still remember a time when I had started making the changes in what I eat. And I was at a function. And of course, they had all the wonderful food. And I decided, I'll do the baked chicken. Well, oh my goodness. What do you mean the baked chicken? You don't want to? I was like, no, I want the baked and I want some vegetables. And that's it. And everybody looked at me like, what are you doing? All this food. But I'm like, I need to make some conscious choices
Mhm, mhm,
about what I put in my body.
mhm,
So thank you so much for all that. And you're right. You are so right. I mean, I hear it all the time. Oh, that doesn't agree with me. But I do remember, and this is a worst case scenario, somebody who did have a food allergy,
mhm.
loved seafood, loved it. She didn't care. This person would continue to eat, eyes would swell up. I'm like,
Mm, mm, mm,
so, so Michelle, what, like, somebody listening is like, okay, Michelle's talking to me. And besides reaching out to you directly, what is like something that they can maybe just do to just kind of start?
mhm, mhm.
I know for me, it's important for me to surround myself with people like minded who, if I decide to eat baked chicken and maybe some, cooked vegetables, but not too cooked, they're
Right,
not going to be like, oh my goodness, Janet, what are you doing over here? Let's put,
right, right. So, what can somebody do right now? All right. I have a I have a framework that I use when I'm coaching, and the framework is called brand new. And each of the letters of brand new refers to a principle that I teach, and we spend weeks on each one of the principles, right? The first one is begin and believe. The second is rise up and reinvent. The third one is alignment and accountability. The fourth one we touched on earlier, nutrition and nourishment. The D is DSW, not the shoes, but drink, sleep, and write. The second N is no is the new yes. The E is what I call eat, evaluate, ask, and think. And the final letter, the W, is wow, I'm worth it, right? So the principle that I will share right now that somebody can do right today and start changing the trajectory of their life and their health is the E, is the eat, the one that I call eat. And I say this because everything that I teach, I don't help Janet. I don't help anybody do anything. I don't.
Mhm.
I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show you. You spend a year with me, and then you can leave and go off and chart your own course. Hopefully, you'll stay and contribute to the community, but you will be armed, right? You will be armed with knowledge and information to make decisions. And the way that I teach people to do that is by questioning everything. Questions are at the root of this because we are bombarded with misinformation that keeps us unconscious. And so, for anybody that says and understands and is ready and is willing to say, I am unconsciously eating too much of the wrong stuff for the wrong reasons, help me. I can help that person. Is right? Unconscious, too much, wrong stuff, wrong reasons. I first help people with the consciousness part because when you get conscious, when you get aware, then you can make a shift, then you can make a change. But if you're in the dark and you've never seen the light, you don't even know. And some of us have been unhealthy and in the dark for so long, we don't even realize it. We don't even know what good health looks like. We don't even know what it feels like because we've never had it, we've never seen it, and it has been pushed on us that it is one thing and it is actually another. We don't even believe that it is for us. So the first thing is to get conscious, get aware, to know what the truth is, right? To know it. You may know it. It may piss you off when you find out, but eventually it'll set you free, right? Eventually set you free. So that consciousness, that awareness, that knowledge, that's the first step to transformation because that's what I teach. I teach transformation. That's why I'm sitting here, Janet, having lost this weight in 2019. I'm the same size I was in 2019. For 60 years, I wasn't able to say that. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. For 40, until I was 60, I wasn't able to say that. For 40 years, I wasn't able to say that because I would lose 30, gain 40, lose 40, gain 50. It was a yo-yo from the time that I was 20 until the time that I was 60 years old, never being able, and the reason that I wasn't able to keep it off because I didn't know how. I didn't have the skill. This is about learning and getting the tools. This is not about having a relationship with food. This is about mastery, right? This is about understanding. This is about a fundamental shift in our belief system about what, and food is just a tool. We have to decide how we want to look, how we want to feel, how we want to show up in this world, and then eat to get that.
Mhm.
That's that's what it is. It is a way for us to live in our purpose, right? It is a way for us to do that. It is. I'm not saying the food shouldn't taste good. I'm just saying it doesn't have to. I mean, I grew up with country grandparents and a grandmother who told me as I had okra for the first time. It looked funny to me. I looked at it. I don't like okra. I don't like, what is this? This okra. I don't like it. She looked at me and said, "Don't worry." Don't, she said something like, "Don't worry about it. Eat it anyway. It's good for you." What did I do? I'm four. I ate it.
Mhm.
Be, because we live in a world now that tells us everything should be about pleasure. We make our decisions about what we eat based on pleasure, and that has nothing to do with the reason to eat in the first place, which is what we pray about: nutrition and nourishment.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's twisted, and
Mhm.
the way that we untwist it is with questions. So. The questions are foundational. First of all, is it really food? Before everything I put in my mouth, is it really food? Why do I think it's food?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I trust it? Do I
Mm-hmm.
trust it just because it came from Whole Foods? I don't think so. Because there's plenty of stuff in there that will kill you. You eat enough of it, right? There's plenty of stuff there. So let's just not go down that road, right? So is it really food? Why this food now? Why this particular food now? Am I hungry or am I something else? Am I hungry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Am I stressed? What's going on? Right? What? Because we have eaten for so long for reasons other than hunger, we don't even know what real hunger feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we have to taught. We have to be taught. And the other thing that we have to be taught is when those other things show up, deal with those other things. So we deal with the stress, deal with the fear, deal with the anxiety, deal with the noise, deal with the sadness, deal with the tiredness, deal with the exhaustion, because food will cure none of those things. But if we think that food does, and we still are battling with those things, and those things aren't solved, we have an automatic response to go to the food. Fix those things, and the automatic response to go to food goes away. So we need to know what those things are, identify those things, and also understand that emotions are not a bad thing.
That's true.
We put judgment on them, right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
emotions are just data. It's just information.
Mm-hmm.
It is just information. It's telling us something vital that we need to know. Or we are spiritual beings. Emotions
Mm-hmm.
are how we express ourselves. This body is just covering.
That's
So
true.
when we get to the place where we can navigate those emotions
Mm-hmm.
through questions,
Mm-hmm.
because the reality, Janet, is this: is before I ever gained an extra pound, an extra ounce, or extra anything on my body, I gained it in my head first. I gained it in my mind first. And we have to lose it the same way. That's why people get stuck and frustrated and feel like they're failures with willpower, self control, and self discipline, because it's all about the behavior. It's all about the action. It's not about what's going on in our heads. And that's why the questions are so powerful, because the questions take us back to our thoughts. The questions take us back to our beliefs. And that's where we can make the changes. Is this really food? Do I trust it? Why do I think it's food? Am I hungry? Am I hungry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Am I something else? Why this food now? All of those questions. Will this food give me the life, the health, the body that I say that I want? So after it seems like a lot of questions, but after you practice, you can go through them in about 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gives you time to pause, to
Mm-hmm.
make an evaluation, to shift and pause and do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you just start changing your thinking. You start thinking in a brand new way. Yeah, because you start thinking in a brand new way. Your body will start to show up brand new, or you'll start to feel brand new, right? You, you,
Mm-hmm.
you you start to wear your hair in a brand new way, right? You got enough how to do wear everything starts to shift, because
Mm-hmm.
this process, this notion, this skill set of asking questions, of questioning, right? You can transfer to every area of your life. You get
Mm-hmm.
stronger in this place, in this space. Oh my gosh. I just think about this when I know Jenny, I know I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on, but
Mm-hmm.
I just think about, in my career, and I think about the women that are out there slaying it, right? Just slaying it. But how what would you be doing? How would you be feeling? How would you be slaying it? How would you be showing up if you didn't have to navigate through all this unconsciousness around food,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of
Mm-hmm.
all the weight that you're carrying from this stuff that's unresolved around food. If that
Mm-hmm.
was no longer an issue for you, how much of a slayer would you be then?
Yeah. You're so.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're so
So
true.
we
So true.
so we can't be afraid of our power, right? When we get this right, this is going to just accelerate. It is going to amplify. It is going to, like, take us deeper and farther when we get this thing right.
So true. So true, Michelle. I mean, I was thinking about myself. One of the things I always had to have was the dessert after dinner. And for some reason, my mind kept, but then I said, you know what? After doing a few tests and everything, things, they said, well, this could happen to you. Okay. So I need to get proactive. And I just stopped it. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say I don't eat dessert, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't do it every single night after dinner. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute. I
Mm-hmm.
changed the habit. Like you said, I changed the thought because I knew what my end goal was. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this has got to change. So you
Mm-hmm.
are right. It is starts here and then it'll start on our plates and what we put in our food and our choices as well. Because
Yeah.
even now, I'm choosing what I decide to eat. I don't eat this hamburger
Mm-hmm.
because this one over here is a better quality
Mm-hmm.
and it's made better. So,
Mm-hmm.
see, Michelle, you've given us so much to think about. My goodness. So, how can people connect with us? Because you've given us a lot to think about. How can people connect with you and really
Yes.
work with you?
Yes. So email me. Email
Okay.
me at michellepettis.com. I answer every email. And I also would like to invite whoever's listening. I have a retreat coming up. I do an 8-day, what I call Mind Over Meals retreat. It is a free online retreat for an hour, 8 days at 6 o'clock, Tuesday to Tuesday. And we unpack for an hour just like we did today. I go through, depending on which retreat it is, I'll spend an hour on each one of the principles. Right? I'll spend an hour on each one of the principles. You'll have an opportunity to go through the visualizations, through the affirmations, through the meditation, through the writing, because those four things, those are the tools to retrain your mind. Those are the tools to reclaim your mind, to get your power back. They don't tell you that, right? They don't tell you that. But it's those four things allow you to start creating new neural pathways in your brain to process information in a way that is empowering so that you can rise up above these old stories. And so it doesn't become a fight. It doesn't become a battle. It doesn't become hard because now you have these stories that allow you to reframe everything that you think about food. And it's about transformation. It's like this, Janet. You think about babies, and this is what I really get people to lean into. Think about babies. Babies don't come out. I don't have children, but I watched a whole bunch of them. Right?
Hmm.
Babies don't come out the womb knowing how to walk. They don't. They come out, and they don't come out knowing or believing anything. They're taught everything. But once babies start to kind of get some baby agency, they are looking around and they see the walking people. They're crawling or they're in their little scooters or whatever they call, and they see the walking people, and they see the walking people with access, with freedom, opening cupboards and doing all the kind of stuff that they don't even know the words for, but they're like, I like that. That looks good. I think I want to do that, right? And so they're watching the walking people and they're crawling, and their parents are trying to get them to walk, and they're trying to walk and they're a little unstable, and they take that first step and they fall on the butt. And they fall on the little pamper and they look around like, wait. And they start to cry because it kind of shocked them a little bit. Wait, I'm supposed to be doing what the walking people are doing, right? But I'm sitting here on the floor. I'm not going anywhere. So they're crying. And then once the parents reassure them and coax them, right? And you just, all right. Okay, the baby's like, oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna get back up and try this again. And now the baby is catching their parents' hand. They're catching a stranger's hand. Mom, I know told me not to talk to strangers, but they look like they got a hand. They might be able to help me. And so they're catching everybody's hand. They're hitting the wall. They're holding the counters, and they're taking the steps, and they fall again. When they fall again, Janet, I watch them. They don't cry when they call the second time. They just kind of like look around like, oh, I fell. They make a little joke of it. And then they get right back up and they keep trying to walk. And here's the thing. They never ever, not once, not ever think that they won't walk. That the only thing that they see is walking. And when we learn that on this journey to our health, to reclaim our weight, to get to our health, if we look ahead and just accept that the only thing that I see for myself is good health. It doesn't matter if I mess up. If I go out with my friends tonight and I have a drink and I didn't mean to, or I eat the dessert and I didn't mean to, I ate the fries I didn't mean to. I'll have another opportunity to make a better choice because I know that good health is for me and I'm moving toward that. And there's no way I'm not going to get it. No matter how many times I eat the french fry and I didn't want to, I know that there will come a time when I won't want it, when it won't mean anything to me, when I will claim victory over it. And so and that's transformation. Because once the baby learns how to walk, they don't go back to crawling. That's why
Mm-mm,
I don't worry about gaining the weight back because I'm not that chick anymore. I I know I know what it feels like, right? So once you get that knowledge, once you get that information and you are transformed, that's where your freedom comes. That's where your power comes from because nobody can sabotage you, right? You can bring up, and if you saw my TED talk, I grew up with peach cobbler. I
mm-hmm,
grew up with pound cake.
mm-hmm,
I grew up with all that stuff. I don't eat it right now. There's nothing you can do that's gonna make me eat it. I still love my mother. I still love my grandmother, right? I have wonderful memories of sweet potato pie. All that, not eating it,
mm-hmm,
not.
mm-hmm. I understand. I
So
understand.
So that journey, so if somebody is ready to take that journey, to take that walk, they can email me. You get that on the retreat. And in the retreat, you make it you at the end of the days, you make a decision. Do I want to go deeper into this work? And if somebody wants to go deeper into the work and work with me on a long-term basis, I have a 52-week program because it is transformation. It's not a 6 week boot camp. It's not 90 days of this or that, right? It's community where you are changed, at the end. That's
Mm-hmm,
what this is about. That's what
mm,
this is about.
mm. Well, Michelle, again, it has been a great conversation, transformational, I believe, for someone watching and listening. Of course, I will have all your links in the show page so they can connect with you. They can sign up for your retreat. And please do sign up for the retreat. So, again, thank you so much, Michelle. It has truly, truly been it's been an informative and transformational conversation for me as well.
Thank you, Janet, for holding space for this conversation. Right? I just appreciate the work that you do because here's the thing: it is all connected.
Mm-hmm.
It is so all connected.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.